Hi, I'm Wendy, and welcome to the RN for God podcast. This is where truth meets health and wellness. But as a public health official and registered nurse, I am going to discuss the myths, the facts, and give you some essential tips to have a more balanced life in the health realm, the physical realm, mental, emotional, and spiritual realm, and of course, even financially. Take this journey with me and let's dive in. See you soon. Toodles. Hey, welcome back for another episode. How's everyone? I'm going to take that deep breath in and just relax a minute because it's a lot happening out here in the world, and sometimes we need to just take a deep breath in. Remember waiting to exhale? That's what it is. Not waiting to exhale in that sense, but you taking that deep breath in and you exhaling out all of that junk. So today I want to talk about cultural competence care and how to move forward in these next coming years, because there is a lot going on. As I've said before, I don't really like to use the term racism because it gets thrown around so much. I think people are becoming insensitive to the word, and they are using it as if as if it doesn't exist, and as if excuse me, we should just be like, oh well, they're just a racist, blah blah blah. Historically, if you look at what has happened in the past, that mentality is still ingrained in people. One thing I know is that in Germany, as you know, the reason that they talk about the Holocaust so much, they don't plan to ever forget. They have those encampments. They have all of those things still around, and they take tours. Like, they have their students from elementary school up to take a tour so that the people in their country never ever forget what happened. For Black Americans, it's hard to find areas that display the atrocities that have been done to us on a whole. Yes, we have the African American Museum in DC, which is a phenomenal museum. And if you have never gotten there, please do so. You can go online. It's free. Just order your tickets in advance, because people come when they're there, and it's always a lot of people in the building all the time. But it is well worth the trip. Make sure you have tissue with you. But it is very, very, it is encouraging, because you see how we were treated coming over, being stolen and taken, raped and almost destroyed as a people, being stolen from Africa and brought into this country that we didn't know anything about, couldn't even speak the language. How we as a people came together, and look at where we are now, right? We were slaves. We built this country. And now we run a lot of things in this country. And we have to just get better at coming together in this country. And I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it a little bit. I am seeing it. So the Bible tells us that in 1 Corinthians 1:10, it says, brothers and sisters, I encourage all of you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ to agree with each other and not to split into opposing groups. I want you to be united in understanding and opinions. Now, granted, this is a letter to a church, telling that church to not be divided in their beliefs, because in this one church there were multiple little differences in beliefs, and he's encouraging them to stand on one belief. And granted, I know that amongst the Black community, there is not just the Christian ideology. There are atheism, there are Muslims, there are all kinds of people. And those, I'm just naming those because those are the ones that I know for sure, because I don't know the name of every religion out there. But I know that everyone does not profess Christ as their Lord and Savior. And that's okay for you. I believe that he is the way, the truth, and the light. And the only way that you want to get into heaven is by him. But that's not what I'm here to debate. What I'm here to talk about, as a people together, we can still come together and build and be economically sound and have the things that we need for us, for our children. So what? They don't want to teach our kids in schools about our history. We have Black teachers. We have programs outside of schools. We have that information in books that we can still have. And as parents, as grandparents, as aunties, as uncles, as cousins, we can still share our history. Before the written word happened, history was shared verbally, through stories, through conversations, through talks. And if everybody puts down their electronic device at dinner time, once a week, maybe these things can begin to come back. These stories, teaching people, telling people about history of the Black people, maybe just in your family, maybe somebody else's family that you know of. Pull out a book, get some books on history of the Black people, written by Black people. Because a lot of times the things that are not written by us have discrepancies in there, right? So there are a lot of books. Henry Louis Gates, he has several books on the history of Black American. Marcus Garvey. There are a lot of books out there that discuss our history in America. Malcolm X. So there are books out there that you can get. There are stories that children can read about coming into America as a young child. So there are things out there. But as a people, we have to come together and stand together. If you are in an area and something occurs, so for instance, you at work and a white person says something, and you look like, okay, my coworker, she might be upset about this. We were having a conversation at lunch. She is from Cuba. I think she's like her parents are from Cuba. I don't know if she was born in the States or not, but anyway, she has a Cuban heritage. And we're at work and I'm telling her I discovered a show, Bridgerton. And I was telling her that I like time period shows. I like medieval time stuff and blah, blah, blah. And she said, "Oh, do you think you were born in the wrong time period?" I looked at her, I was like, "Girl, I'm Black. Heck no. I would be dead the way my mouth is set up." They lynch me, cut my tongue out, and all of that stuff. And my point was to her, like, I know that you didn't realize what you were saying, but yeah, no, I don't think so. I am a person that if you ask me, if you are of a different race and you ask me a question about Black people, and I'll be honest, well, I don't know why this person did that, but another person may have done, they could have done it because of this. Another example, one of my Caucasian coworkers, I usually wear my hair twisted at work, and I wore my hair out, and I usually wear my hair natural, curly. And she walked over to me and she was like, "Oh," and I said, I said, "Don't touch my hair." She was like, "Why?" I said, "Because listen, I'm going to tell you this." I said, "Because I don't want nobody to hurt you." I said, "But you can't just walk up to people, especially Black people, and go touching their hair." And she said, really? She named another black nurse that works night shift with her and said, oh, she lets me do it all the time. I said, because she's not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you because I don't want you to get yourself hurt from just doing that to people. So sometimes people don't know what they are doing and they don't know that it is offensive. So I am a person that always lets a person know, listen, if you do that to another black person, you're going to offend them. But because I know you and I know that that's not your intent, I'm going to let you go, but I'm going to tell you, don't do this again. And that's what I think we have to do, because just because a person's skin color is not the same as yours or mine does not mean that they are racist, and it does not mean that they have ill intent. I have black people in my family. I got Filipino in my family. I have Asian in my family. I got everything. I think I do have. I got Indian. I have everything in my family. And I'm not talking about running through my veins. I'm talking about literally, I have a cousin that's Filipino. I have somebody else in my family, another cousin that's Indian. And these are people by marriage. But my point is, they are still my family because now they have children and their children are my little cousins. So just because a person does not have the same skin color as you does not mean that they are racist. It does not mean that they have ill intent. So one, I suggest, ask them, did you understand what you did is offensive? Because maybe they don't know. And even if they did know, you let them know it was offensive. Please don't do it again. That saying is, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So you don't get a second time to insult me or whatever it may have been. Give people that first opportunity to say, okay, I didn't know, but let me let you know. So next time there is no misunderstanding, because that's the first thing they'll say is, oh, I didn't know. And if they do know, okay, then don't do it again. So there are times where you have to get a little flippant. I hope that you don't, because we don't know what kind of mindset people are in. But before you get flippant, before you go off, just ask them, excuse me, did you know what you just did was offensive to me as a black woman or as a black man or the parent of a black child? Give them an opportunity to answer. And the reason that I say this, I'm not saying to be passive, to be a pacifist. I'm not saying to be weak or anything like that. But what I'm saying is the Bible tells us to do whatever we can to live peacefully amongst people. We have power, but they have power to say, oh, you did this, you did that. We don't know what the cops going to say when they come up. We don't know what lies they may tell. What do you have to lose? Because I know I have a lot to lose. So you have to think about those things. You have to think hard about those things. A lot of times people are moving in emotion, and then after the fact, they have no recourse. They have nothing. They have lost their children, their livelihood, their jobs. They in jail. They have lost their lives in essence. So we have to move strategically. Remember, I told y'all we playing chess. We not playing checkers. We playing chess. So again, I suggest if a person does or says something, granted, not putting their hands on you, because that's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. And I can't tell you what to do with that, because this is, I can't tell you what to do with that. But I'm saying do everything that you can do to be peacefully amongst people. Somebody does something that offends you, ask them, or let them know, that offended me. Did you know as a black woman that is offensive to me? because it could be offensive to you, but not offensive to another black woman. And it could be a friend of theirs and they say, oh, I didn't know. Like there's a whole thing where women call each other B's. Don't call me a B, because then I'm like, what? I don't do that. I don't do that. If you can't call me my name, you can call me sister, you can call me friend, you can call me everything else, but I'm not a female dog. Never, ever, ever have I been. I don't get down like that. None of my friends do. But if that's what you do, then that's what you do. And that's you. You might not be offended by that, but I'm going to definitely be offended by that. And I'm going to let you know, I don't do that. So don't do that with me. I don't play like that. So one thing could be offensive to another person and one can be not offensive. But if something is offensive to you, you let a person know, hey, as a black woman, that was offensive to me. When you are conversing with me or when you talking or dealing with me, don't do that, because I don't like that. I can't speak for nobody else, but me, don't do that with me. And of course, you have to say things in a nice way, because I had to practice, because I grew up a fighter. And I had to literally, when I started working, I'm from the hood. I'm from the streets of Philadelphia, West Philadelphia. 59th and Master is where I grew up. And I had to learn to tell someone something without the aggressive body language and tone and mannerism that I'm going to slap you stance. And I learned that by saying how I felt in the mirror to myself, just saying it straight up how I felt. And then I would look and say, now, if somebody came to me like that, I'd be ready to fight. So I would have to practice saying something to someone in the corporate healthcare world, saying something, telling someone that they offended me, one, without tears, without emotion, because when I get so mad, I cry. And I don't want that person to think that my tears are because of pain or hurt from you, but my tears are because I'm so mad that I am emotional and I want to do damage that I know